All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle one of the biggest, most common mistakes people make when working across cultures. It's this one little assumption that can cause some huge misunderstandings. So let me ask you something. When you hear that someone from, say, America is direct and someone from Israel is also direct, do you assume they give feedback the same way? If you're like most of us, you probably connect those dots automatically. But what if that connection, that simple assumption, is just wrong? Yeah, this is the mental shortcut we all take. It's just easier to lump things together, right? We hear a culture is low context. They say what they mean, super clear. And our brain just goes, okay, so they must be blunt with feedback. And then for high context, where you have to read between the lines, we figure, well, obviously they're going to be subtle with criticism. It makes perfect sense on the surface. And look, this isn't just a random theory. This source material calls this out specifically. This is the exact trap that even seasoned pros fall into. We just draw this straight, logical line in our heads, connecting how people talk in general with how they deliver bad news. But here's the thing. That neat, clean, logical line we just talked about, it's not real. It's a total illusion. The idea that one style predicts the other, well, it's a myth. So if that's the myth, what's the reality? What's really going on? Well, the truth is, there's just no direct correlation. A culture's day-to-day communication style and how they give negative feedback, they're two totally separate things. And there's actually a name for this idea. It's called the decoupling principle. Think about it like this. Just because someone is, say, tall, does that automatically tell you their hair color? Of course not. They're two independent variables. It's the exact same thing here. Being a low-context culture doesn't automatically mean you give direct feedback. The two traits are decoupled. Okay, so what does this decoupling actually mean in practice? It means every combination you can think of exists out there in the world. You can have a low-context culture, one that's super clear in daily talk, but then they're incredibly indirect when it comes to giving criticism. And on the flip side, you can have a high-context culture that's all about nuance until they deliver feedback, and then it's brutally direct. All four possibilities are on the table. Sometimes the best way to really get this is to see it. So let's actually visualize what these possibilities look like. And there you have it. You can basically just throw out that idea of a straight line connecting these two things. The reality is this four-quadrant grid. Any combination is possible. A culture can fall into any one of these boxes, and you absolutely cannot predict which one based on their general communication style. So you might be thinking, okay, that's a neat little theory, but why does it really matter? Well, it matters a lot. Because if you get this wrong, you could end up seriously offending a colleague, or maybe even worse, completely missing the feedback that was supposed to help you get better at your job. The stakes are actually pretty high. So here's the absolute key takeaway. The one thing you have to remember, you just cannot predict one style from the other. You can't do it. From now on, you have to think of them as two completely different things that you need to figure out whenever you're working with someone new. So what do you do with this information? Well, it's actually a pretty simple three-step playbook. Step 1, just stop. Stop making that automatic assumption we've been talking about. Step 2, you have to analyze these two things separately. Communication style is one thing, feedback style is another. And step 3, this is the most important one. Just listen. Really listen to how feedback is actually given. Are they using softening words or are they getting straight to the point? That's the only data you can trust. Honestly, if there's only one thing you remember from all of this, let it be the number 2. That's it. Just 2. From now on, that's your magic number. Because you're always considering two separate scales. One for how people talk and another for how they give feedback. And that really leaves us with a final question for you. Now that you know this, how is it going to change how you operate? The very next time you're in a meeting with someone from another culture, what are you going to listen for now that you've thrown out the old assumptions? Because making that shift, just being aware, that's the real game changer.